Well, according to the gizmo, it says I'm live. How about that? And it's Padre coming to you live via the virtual airways of YouTube Live to say, how the heck are you? Hello, sir, says Smokin' Ronnie. Glad to have you with us today, Smokin' Ronnie. Don't know who else is on. Lunchtime. And I was going to enjoy a little cup of the black stuff in my BRTV mug. And a little something something in my Rossi Robino. You know, I picked this up from Eddie Gray at the Pipe Nook. What is it I've gotten there for this lunchtime on this Monday? It's this here. It's called Golden Days of Yore. It's by Cornell and Deal. It's a holiday blend. I think it goes back a few years. Let's see. I printed it out from the internet. The interwebs says it's Christmas 2015. So you have that exact same pipe and love it, do you, Smokin' Ronnie? Well, okay. It is nice. These Rossies are actually made by Savinelli. And, you know, I don't see a huge amount of difference in the quality. I think they're very well made, and you agree. And the price point, you just can't beat them. I mean, you just can't. Good stuff. This Cornell and Deal Golden Days of Yore Christmas 2015 says every year C&D produces a Christmas blend inspired by a classic Christmas carol. And for 2015, it was these Golden Days of Yore. Black Cavendish, Burley, Kentucky, Oriental Turkish, Virginia. It's got some toppings to it, including alcohol/liquor, cinnamon, cocoa, chocolate, ginger, licorice, nuts, beans. I'll tell you, hey there, Piper69. It's not necessarily my favorite of their seasonal blends. I think last year's, what the heck was that called? Somebody's going to have to help me out. Hey, Ohio Piper. A couple of years ago was corncob pipe and a button nose. I wasn't impressed all that much by that one. I think this Golden Days of Yore is much better. Last year's was really good, and I just can't think of the name of it. I gave some away on the channel. Hey, Paul Palmer. Last year when we had the big Breyer Report Christmas Peterson Christmas pipe giveaway. It also came with some of the C&D blend that year. For the life of me at the moment, I can't think of what it's called. Pardon me while I take this moment to say hello, Johnny Osprey in Rhode Island, to go ahead and put a little charring light on this. Would you stand by with me for a moment? Now, what I will tell you about this here Golden Days of Yore is it gets better with age. I would recommend you jar it up and let it just sit. And you're going to find that every year it mellows. A couple of years ago, I guess 2015 when it first came out, I found it to be a harsh blend. But as is the case with many of blends, particularly those that are Virginia-based, time is a friend. So you let it age. You know, I know it's lunchtime. It's 1 o'clock hour. Hey, Bob Barnes, how are you, sir? 1 o'clock hour where I am, so that's going to make it 2 o'clock on the East Coast, noon, Mountain Time, 11 o'clock hour over on the West Coast. Europe, the UK, London, if Simon were around, it would be, I don't know, evening time. He's probably preparing for dinner. And it amazes me that we can get a dozen or so folks on for live during this time. Snowing. What's your temperature? I bet you it's cold. We we had a little cold front come through. We were almost to the 80s, if not in the 80s on Saturday here in Nolens, 33. And we got down, a little cold front came through for the most part, I guess, last night. It's going to be with us a couple days, warm up on like Thursday just to get hit by another cold front. And they're talking about, I think, a light freeze tonight on the north shore of the New Orleans area for us. Northeast, Piper, UK, Padre, no snow, but been really frosty on the morning. Okay. UK, United Kingdom. What time is it over there? I'm fascinated by time zones. I'm so easily amused. Now I'm starting to really get the flavor. Had to get past that char. 1920. It was a very good year. So that's going to be 7:20 p.m. You know, to all my Canadian friends, my European friends, I'm an American. We're kind of dumb. So when you throw the metric system in, I'm just going to say we're not dumb. I'm dumb. I don't do good with the metric system. I don't do good with the 24-hour clock. We call that military time here in the States. But I just got to subtract 12 from it. So we'd call that 7:20 p.m. Oh, this is really, every year, I haven't had this since last fall, winter, Christmas, etc. It gets a little better every year. It does. Mellows out. You know what? I wanted to tell y'all something. Make you aware of it. BRTV mug. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of recording a BRTV video. It's going to probably be released next weekend. Hey, Tobacco Pipes International. And I did it with a friend of mine locally. He's part of the YTPC. He doesn't really produce content. He should. But he came over after church, and we were wrapping up the day, and we recorded the video. And let me tell you what we're doing. It's going to be a 7-part series. We did part 1 yesterday, and again, I believe it needs some work. I got to do some editing on it because the sound quality was kind of poor because of the two of us. I'm going to have to rearrange. I'm going to have to arrange to have some mics to record both of us as we go forward, just so I don't have to keep playing with the audio level in post. But here's what we're going to do. How many of you out there are fans of the Boswell blends? I am. I like their aromatics. I like their Englishes. I ordered their English sampler, and it comes with 7 different English blends from Boswell's. Good stuff. And we're going to smoke through all 7 blends, one at a time, and give some talking points videos, some thoughts as we go along with it. Of the 7 blends, I personally have had 2 of them, 2 of the Boswell English, and that's Countryside and Northwoods. So we began, because I had shared both of those with Mark VV. Did I even tell you who it was? Mark VV is who I'm making these videos with. And I had shared both of those blends with him years ago when I got them. So he's had both of those. And we started with Countryside last night, and we did our video. And man, I've forgotten really how good that blend is. And I can't wait to share the video with you guys on BRTV's exclusive content for BRTV. Hopefully, again, this weekend-ish or so. And hopefully we'll be able to do this once a week on BRTV for 7 consecutive weeks, where we'll smoke through that entire sampler package, 1 blend at a time. We did Countryside, we recorded it. Our next goal is to do Northwoods. The reason we're doing those 2 first is simply because we both had those 2 blends. So from that point forward, week 3 or video 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, these will be brand new tasting notes for both of us as we go through the blend. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I thought it would be a fun thing to do, and I never realized how much I didn't think I was going to enjoy that blend as much as I did. I'd forgotten how good those Boswell blends are. I just hadn't had one in a while. So that's what I've got coming up, some exclusive content on BRTV. The other thing is about BRTV is to remind you guys about that public access channel that editor-in-chief Phil has put together. So, that's an opportunity if you want to get on BRTV and have a little different platform than, say, just YouTube for whatever, the case may be. You've got an idea. Go ahead and get in touch with him and let him know, shoot him an email what your concept is for the video, and work with him and get that over there. That public access channel is just a wonderful, wonderful idea for the Briar Report television community. And of course, subscribe. Go over to BRTV, BriarReport.org, BriarReport.com. Subscribe so you can get that BRTV guide. That's a trip. That really is funny. I was reading through that one the other day, the most recent edition, and I was literally laughing out loud because what Phil does, he puts some shows that he knows are coming up. Folks have let him know about. They're going to do something in a YPTC or something that people let him know about that are going to produce for BRTV. So he puts those in there. So you got a little schedule, just like the old TV guide. But then he intersperses like actual stuff from old TV guides. It's just funny to read some of the stuff. He had like the Donnie and Marie Variety Hour, which I just laughed. Good afternoon. Oh goodness, that a preacher? I think it was Preacher Man Piper. It faded on me so quickly. We got a nice little crowd going again for this time of the day. It's Monday. I can't stay too long because I do have a fair amount of work to do today. I do try to make Mondays, if not a day off, an easy day, and it's just probably not going to happen until after the first of the year at this point. Robert Creel's with us. We're doing well, sir. Hope you are too. Oh, on the retro hail, that is just so nice. But for those of you of the faith, I hope you were in church yesterday for the first Sunday of Advent. The whole liturgical year starts over again for the liturgical church. We're going to be preaching through the Gospel of Matthew because we're in what's called Year A. Matthew, Mark, Luke, Year A, B, C, interspersed with John throughout those. Preacher Man Piper says you might have seen me on here as Doc Hatfield. Yes, sir, Doc! Blessed to have you with us. Preacher Man. I'm going to share this with anybody. I'm not going to be long, folks, with this. I do plan to make a Wisdom Wednesday video this week for Proverbs. I hope to have time to do that. Yesterday's Old Testament, give me 1 second, folks. If you're not a believer, just chill, have a sip of coffee, light your pipe, do something. For those who like the Word, this stuck out to me. I didn't catch this in my entire week of studying these passages for yesterday's message. It hit me when my lector was reading it yesterday. From Isaiah, chapter 2, verses 1 through 5 was the Old Testament reading. And let me see what it says. What I printed out was from the lector's binder, so it doesn't have the verse markings on it, so I don't exactly know what verse it is. But here's what it says. The law will go out from Zion, the word from God to Moses, to the people, right? But the word of the Lord came from Jerusalem. It came from the city, right? What is the word? The word is not just a thing. The word is actually a person, right? In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning, and through him all things were made. The Word is Christ. So the law came down, that's God coming, giving the law down from the mountain. But Christ, the advent, the coming, he actually came from the city. Why? Because he's a person. He is the person of the man of Nazareth. I just think that was so cool. And again, it only hit me when I heard that as the lector was reading the Old Testament yesterday, that you see it all throughout. It's really cool. You see these foreshadowings. Of course, we're under a covenant of grace because of the Word made flesh. I just think that's so cool. All right, I'm going to get off of that because I know you didn't get on here. This isn't like, TBN or something. It's YTBC. So, football, it was a good weekend for my New Orleans Saints. We beat the Dirty Birds. That's the Atlanta Falcons. We beat them on Thursday night, Thanksgiving. What a great Thanksgiving that was. Because they came and beat the crud out of us in our home stadium a few weeks back. And they got like a horrible record. And they put one on us. And then San Francisco, I didn't get to see the game last night, but apparently San Francisco lost, which is good for New Orleans, because now it's going to come down to when we play San Francisco. Whoever wins that game, I think, is going to end up with home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the NFC. So, who dat, baby? Go Saints. Shout out to Ghost Cobb, who always says he's drinking a cup of mud. Ghost Cobb's an Alabama fan, and ouch. Auburn whipped up on. Well, I didn't whip up on them, but they beat them. I saw a meme on Facebook said that Alabama now in 2019 has been beat by 3 Tigers. And I thought, well, that's odd. 3. You got the Auburn Tigers, LSU Tigers, go Tigers. And back in January, it was the Clemson Tigers. So, that's some funny stuff right there. Love you, Ghost Cobb, and all you Alabama fans. I'm still an SEC boy, so I'll pull for y'all, just not when you're playing us. But man, college football is really shaping up to be interesting this year. It's going to be fun. LSU, my Tigers, are going to be playing the Georgia Bulldogs for the SEC championship. That's going to be good. Of course, I want the Tigers to win. But then again, if Georgia were to win, I think that you may be able to keep LSU in contention for the playoffs. I don't know. We'll see. Because they'd be a 1-loss team. Georgia, if they lose, is going to be a 2-loss team. I think they're out of there. So, how'd y'all's college teams do? How'd your pro teams do? How'd your hockey teams do? Is it hockey yet? I don't know anything about hockey. I'm a Southern boy. Folks, I'm telling you what. If you got this a few years ago and you didn't like it and you jarred it up, go back to it. If you don't have some, get some, maybe enjoy a bowl and don't get turned off by how harsh it is. Jar it up, let it sit for a few years. It is worth the investment. It mellows. I think some of the toppings die down a little bit too. You still get a little of that cocoa liquory kind of stuff going on there. I'm not really getting much on the cinnamon, but you're getting a good quality taste of the leaf from a very nice, again, mellowed, aged Virginia. So, golden days of yore. Can anybody help me remember what C&D's seasonal blend was last year in 2018? It had like a liquory, orangey kind of something going on in there. It was really laugh. I think it was their best seasonal blend yet. I mean, it was an aromatic, but I just can't remember the name of it. I remember the corncob pipe and a button nose because I wasn't all that fond of it. If I remember correctly, a corncob pipe and a button nose was a cube cut. I'm not a cube cut fan. Jolly old St. Nick Groovin' Piper comes through. Thank you, sir. Jolly old St. Nicholas, jolly old St. Nick. That was a really tasty aromatic blend for the holidays. I don't know if they've still got that available on shelves or not. I might go looking for some and pick up another tin of it just to have on hand. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Somebody had noted in the YTPC that it seemed like the orangey liqueur became more prevalent deeper into the tin, which was interesting because I don't know if they implanted that in my mind and I noticed it on 2 tins, or if there was something the way they tinned those and was layered or something. You really enjoyed that one as well. A little better than the corn. Yeah. Absolutely, Groovin' Piper. I was not a fan of the corncob pipe and the button nose. I just found that to be a little bit too. I thought it was typically aromatic, generic in that sense, and I just didn't. If I'm remembering correctly, that it was a cube cut, and I don't like the cube cut. It reminded me of fish food. You know, you'd be like Mr. Rogers, shake, 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 feed the little fishies. I just didn't like that. And I think I still got a couple of tins of that in the cellar, so I may go back to it. But the thing is, I think I've got the original tin still in a jar. I didn't smoke through it, so I don't know. Maybe I'll end up giving those away to someone who really enjoyed it. Nothing stands out for you, Preacher Man Piper, about the corncob pipe and a button nose. I'm with you. It was, I mean, I don't know how else to say. It was just a generic sort of aromatic, you know. And if I'm in the, not that there's anything wrong with that, but if I'm in that kind of generic mood for a cocoa-y, chocolatey, vanilla-y, I mean, I'm gonna go to just lane 1Q, you know, and just do it right. Yep, that's it. Preacher Man Piper says. Anybody else enjoying anything right now over lunch or dinner if you're in the UK? Am I the only one that's blessed to be able to enjoy a Monday lunchtime pipe? I'm telling you, these Virginias, they just mellow out. Mixture 965, Bob Barnes. Tinderbox Reserve 1928 by McClellan. Oh, Elmer Cook, you're making us all envious now. My goodness. Dunhill Dark Flake. All right. Last tin, unfortunately, Robert Creel says. Stokeby Luxury Twist Fillet. Preacher Man Piper. That luxury twist. Tell me, you know what I'm thinking of is the Bullseye. The Stokeby Bullseye. The luxury twist. I know I've had that. It's just not memorable for me. I may have to go back to it. It's funny how sometimes you have something and you're like, you know, and then you get back to it sometime later. Like that Boswell I was telling you about, Countryside. I remember liking it. I just didn't remember liking it as much as I liked it yesterday when Mark Vivi and I made that video for BRTV. I'm like, holy smokes. That was just, I don't want to ruin it for you because I want you to watch the video when we put it out. But I can tell you some of my top comments on it was just so smooth and cool smoking. Just finished tea. Faded on me. It looked like Asquith mixture. Tea time in jolly England. I like tea too, but I'm more of a coffee guy. I really like green tea. And sometimes when I need that, just a switch up of things, and I'm craving a caffeine hit, green tea it's good, and it's good in it gives you the caffeine hit, but it's got some other stuff going on there too. And actually, I'm going to sound a little geeky, but I'm going to remember back to my days in, particularly when I was doing medical psychology. We used to have to talk to people about caffeine and those sorts of things if they had a particular medical condition. Yeah, strong coffee, that's it, man. I like it bold. But tea not only has caffeine in it, it's got a couple of other stimulants as well. Theophylline and theobromine or theobromine, depending on where you want to put the accent on what syllable. And all three of those are stimulants. And so there's some pathomimetics, meaning they mimic the sympathetic nervous system, which is a fancy way of saying, hey, you drink that stuff and yeah, you get a little kick from it, and it's a good way to start the day. It's the only way to start the day in Padre's world. Tea in the UK is finished with dinner, so it's an after dinner. But you guys, y'all take tea throughout the day as well, right? I mean, isn't like 3 o'clock like tea time as well in the afternoon, and morning tea? And I mean, maybe I'm just stereotyping, but I kind of thought in the UK, particularly in England, tea was kind of an all-day beverage, much the same like down here. And I think lots of parts of America, but in New Orleans in particular, coffee is just, I mean, it's you drink more coffee than you drink water down here in the Big Easy. It's just the way we are. It's the way we do things. I know my old Cajun grandmother used to have coffee percolating in the French percolator all day long. That's the way I was brought up in my home. Her daughter, my mother raised me that way all day long. It's coffee pot on. It's confusing. Our dinner is lunch and our Okay. You see, listen, I admit I'm a cultural goofball. I don't know all this stuff, but I think it's fascinating. So your dinner, y'all call, what we call lunch, y'all call dinner. Okay, if I heard that correctly. And it's like that 24-hour clock y'all use. And that metric system, goodness gracious. Yes. But I should learn more about this. This is cool. I think it's neat. And that's why, when you're talking with folks, particularly, even if they're in the U.S., if they're from a different part of the country, you got to just be careful before you get offended that somebody's trying to tell you something that you think is goofy. Just realize it's just different parts. We have breakfast, dinner, and supper. Okay, yeah. Supper, we use the word supper too around here. Supper tends, at least again, I can only speak to this part of the country, the southeastern part of the United States, where I am, or at least in southeast Louisiana. Supper is often used more in the country, so to speak, and dinner would be more of a city word, for what it's worth. It's funny, different parts of the U.S. will call products like Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, etc. by different names. Some people call it soda. Some people call it pop. In New Orleans, all of those drinks are called soft drinks, as opposed to hard drink is. So we'll call Coke, 7-Up, whatever, we'll call that soft drinks. And even more generic than that, we will use the term Coke for everything. So you may come into the office and I'll have a fridge full of stuff and I'll say, hey, everything is Coke here too. Robert Creel said, where are you, Robert Creel? So I'll say, hey, Robert, you want a Coke? And he'll say, yeah. And I'll say, well, what you want? He'll say, oh, give me a diet Dr. Pepper. Soft drinks, pop, Middle Tennessee. So I wonder if that's more of a southern thing for us down here, southern part of the United States. Coke's a generic term for any kind of soft drink. Again, that's something we say in New Orleans, soft drinks, or for pop or soda. It's just funny, and it can get a little confusing. You think somebody may be being flippant with you or not, and they're not. It's just a different nomenclature. East Tennessee, Preacher Man Piper. All right, we got some Tennessee folk going on there. You guys are Vols fans, volunteers? Wearing that safety orange? This was a long time ago. There's an East Tennessee University. Is that correct? You're a Vols fan. Okay. I want to say back in the day when I was looking at PhD programs that there might have been a clinical medical psychology program in Eastern Tennessee University. Yeah. Preacher Man's Bible says yes, definitely. So is that school affiliated with a medical school by any chance? It seems like that was one of the programs. I do have a little bit of my memory left. I still get confused. The other day, I think it was a live. Yeah, it must have been a live video because I got corrected by, I think it was Purdue Piper. I was talking about the Sunday coming up was the first Sunday of Lent, and I always do that. I always confuse Lent. I mean, I know the differences between Lent and Advent, but the words come out. I will often misspeak Lent for Advent and Advent for Lent. It's funny. I mean, I don't confuse Christmas and Easter. It's just hell getting old, gentlemen. My goodness, I'm already coming up on a half hour, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to start to cut this off because I've got some work to get to. I am in such a work avoidance mode today. I really am. And I think it's because, we had Thursday off for Thanksgiving. Let's leave the old out of it. Amen, preacher man. Amen. We're not senior citizens. We're seasoned citizens. Did a 4-hour live Saturday night. 4 hour? Were you really live for 4 hours? I'm going to have to go back and 74. But 40 years ago, 74, we all would have thought that was old. That is, first of all, people are living longer today, but also the older we get, the more we move that what's old. Live for 4 hours. Goodness gracious, that's like a marathon session. And you kept people on? Did anybody stick with you for the entire 4 hours, or were people kind of coming in and out? You know, sometimes people will pick on clergymen, priests, pastors, ministers, mostly coming in and out. I guess, over 4 hours, because we can be long-winded, so they'll kind of pick on us. I have always joked, I am not a guy who will particularly, or preach particularly long. Number one, because I don't have the attention span for it myself. So I figure if I'm dozing off, it's time to wrap it up. And you know, back in the day when I was a younger guy, or I should say earlier in ministry, I would my messages would be typed out in a manuscript, and I would read from them. And I started getting off of that and using outlines. And now I just study and just get up there and talk. Here, only 6 p.m. stateside, so I was finishing, everyone was coming on. Okay, yeah, that time zone thing, yeah. Couple of times back, I was doing an evening live, and holy smokes, who was a priest over in the Philippines, came on and said, good morning. And I was heading to like the 6 o'clock hour on a Friday or something. And he says, good morning. I'm like, what? And I'd forgotten where, you know, he's down in the Philippines. And so it was already the next day for him. It was Friday night for us. I'm getting ready to go to dinner, and he's waking up and having breakfast. That world is a crazy thing. Particularly the flat earth part of it. No, I'm kidding. It's not flat earth. But yeah, so for me to get on here and just ramble like I've just done now for over 30 minutes, I don't do that in the pulpit, I promise y'all. Everyone knows when I get up to speak, I'm a 30-minute man. So what faith tradition, what denomination or tradition are you with? Because in my church, 30 minutes would be pushing it. You know, in a Baptist, particularly Southern Baptist tradition, 30 minutes would be, in some local churches, that might even be considered short for teaching time. But you know, we're a liturgical sacramental church, so we have a lot of stuff to get to. So you do have to crank back a little on the preaching sometimes. But 30 minutes would be a longer. How's it going, brother? Hey, Goat Man Stevie's going good. Going good, man. How are you? That fascinates me, is Christianity is not mono such. So, you know, again, for one Baptist church, 30 minutes may be on the longer side, it may be shorter. I can tell you that in a liturgical church, you know, Anglican church or Roman Catholic church, Orthodox, I don't know a whole lot about Orthodox, Western Rite Orthodoxy. 30 minutes is that would be considered a long sermon or a long homily. Raised Baptist, yet I've preached in most denominations. You, sir, I like that. You sound like an ecumenical kind of guy, and that's how I see myself as well. A friend of mine coined the term ecumaniac, and I like that. Fact is, every Tuesday morning here at my church, I host a clergy prayer group, and there's a wide variety of clergy who come together. We pray together. We pray for each other. We pray for each other's churches, and then we use the lectionary as the word, and we study it for a little bit for the upcoming Sunday. So it helps those of us who follow the lectionary to kind of start to get our thoughts together about how we want to preach those scriptures. But we've got guys who come, we've got at least one regular attendant who's a Southern Baptist, and they don't use a lectionary. But we're bringing him around. He's starting to really get into responsive prayers and following a lectionary and such. We've got regular attendance by ACNA Anglicans. We have Lutheran, Presbyterians. I mean, we're all over the place. It's a nice little group. But I like ecumenism. I think it's a wonderful thing. And within Christianity, there's things we can agree to disagree on. I think that's wonderful. It is a beautiful thing. Johnny Osprey in Rhode Island. I love the lectionary. It is a wonderful thing. It helps us. What I like about the liturgical church is the rhythm, the life rhythm. It follows the seasons. The way the world follows natural seasons, the church also has her seasons. And the Word follows those seasons and helps us through it. I bet people tell me I can't preach in all denominations I have been in. I say just preach the book. Amen. That's it. I mean, look, the Word is the Word is the Word, unless, of course, you're in one of those denominations who's changed the Word. I'm not gonna be mean to anybody. I don't want to offend, but there is an American denomination out there who decided to rewrite the scripture I quoted, actually. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. They changed it to in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was a little g God. And no, you can't do that. Anybody know who I'm talking about? That's all right. That's an argument for another day. Well, folks, I really probably should be wrapping this up. Again, the Watchtower, you got it. You got it, Johnny Osprey. It's exactly the Watchtower Society publishing their own version of the Bible there. This Cornell and Deal, folks, for the holidays, again, if you got a new tin of it, I'd give it some time. I'm telling you, every year it just gets better. It mellows out. It's good stuff. That's Jolly Old St. Nick. It was Robert Creel reminded me of what that was, or somebody chimed in because I couldn't remember it. It saved my life before. That was a good one from last year. And I live 12 miles from their headquarters. And oh, really? Okay. You're not far from those folks. I bet you they come knocking on your door. But if you can get some of that Golden Days of Yore and just jar it up, put it aside till next Christmas, it'll do even better. Am I doing a Christmas gar this year? Is that for me? I haven't really thought about it. Maybe I should. They marked my door. You're funny. You're funny. Maybe I won't do. I did a little kind of after Christmas gar last year. So maybe I'll do a little gar. I don't know. I got to think about that. Got to get through some stuff I got coming up. It's going to be a busy week for me. But I'm going to give some thought to that. Thanks for that suggestion. Yeah. But again, keep an eye out on the BRTV guide. In particular, I'm really excited about Sitting Dampler from Boswell on the Englishes and getting that first video up hopefully over the weekend. All right, Goatman Stevie, good day for you as well. So keep an eye out for that. Mark VV, easy for me to say, have that first video up on BRTV hopefully over the weekend as we talk about Countryside, and the next one we'll do Northwoods, and from there we'll move through the other 5 samples that come in the Boswell sampler package for the English. It's a good time of the year to be enjoying those English blends. It really is. As the weather gets cooler, those tend to be real enjoyable. So listen, folks. Heading into almost 40 minutes here, so I got to get back to work. Got to run too, huh, Preacher Man Piper? You have a great day. And to everyone out there, I appreciate you stopping by. You know what I say. It's Padre, wishing you and yours God's peace, grace, and blessings. Thank you for stopping by.